Okay, hey everyone. Happy Tuesday. Actually kind of a gloomy Tuesday here in the city where it's somehow remarkably news when a sports columnist calls for a team to perform a whole hell of a lot better than they have over the last 20 years. I'm Dejan Kovacevic, columnist at the Trib. We have an interesting show, kind of a different show. Robert Morris hockey coach Derek Schooley will be on with us. We're going to talk not just about his team, but also about the future, possible future, of Division I hockey in Pittsburgh. Can it ever get to the point where it comes down to Consol Energy Center on a permanent basis? Can Robert Morris ever get a venue that's bigger than Neville Island? What does it mean for local players? What does it mean for NHL draft potential? It'll be fun just to talk about anything at all that's related to hockey that doesn't have to do with lawyers. And later on in the show, we're going to have Mark Kaboli, our Trib Steelers beat guy. We're going to have a pretty good debate, I suspect, between me and Kaboli as to what Ben Roethlisberger exactly might have meant on Sunday in Dallas whenever he was critical of Todd Haley. And to that note, I just came over from the Mike Tomlin press conference, and the coach, you could tell, was very much prepared for the Ben and Todd questions. To his credit, that's part of his job. He said that he had met with Ben yesterday, which of course raised an eyebrow among pretty much all of us around the room. He also said after that he does that sort of thing with Ben every Monday, which was kind of news to a lot of people. One way or another, that situation has got to get resolved, and it's got to get resolved yesterday if it wasn't already resolved yesterday. I'm on Ben's side with this. I wrote about it yesterday in the Trib. To me, the modern era of sports, you have to take care of your franchise player. You have to build your team around him as opposed to the way the coach wants it built. That's true, and we've seen it with the Penguins for years and years. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Mario Lemieux. You don't make them fit your system. You make a system that works for them. The Steelers, of course, went the opposite direction this year in imposing really an offensive coordinator, clearly against Ben's wishes. Ben, I think, for the most part, has been a good soldier. He's complained. He's thrown out these little digs. But he's done the job. He's credited Todd Haley at times. He's, by all accounts, met with him, been professional with him. We haven't seen that big blow-up scene that I think a lot of us were expecting to see on the sideline. Haley, to his credit, hasn't been anything like what he was in Kansas City in terms of temperament. But clearly something's wrong. And it's not just wrong because they didn't throw the ball to Heath Miller a bunch in the second half. That's oversimplifying it. Something is wrong. If the quarterback and the offensive coordinator aren't on the same page, be sure that the entire offense, as an 11-man unit, is not on the same page. That's why you see the Steelers will go out and look like a rhythmic, moving offense on one drive and just smoke their way down the field. Heath Miller was talking about this actually after the game on Sunday. He said, there's times when we look like we're just a machine. And then there's other times where they don't look like they have a clue. You have to go with the mentality that your quarterback has. I go back to that first possession the Steelers had in the second half on Sunday. Nice punt return by Antonio Brown, not the fumble one, the one where he held on. Got to the 50. You have the ball there. You're looking downfield. You have that other team on its heels. And you go Dwyer up the middle, Dwyer over guard, short pass to Dwyer, punt. I'm sorry. That's where you lose the game. Not on that series, but right there mentally. Your quarterback comes with a killer instinct mentality. He wants to throw that 60-yard ball. He wants to put the knife in right away. And you go, and punt. That's not on the same page. That's the area where the Steelers need to address. I get it. I understand. I respect that they wanted to establish a running game. I understand that they wanted to do things to protect Ben, throw screen passes, keep blockers off him. To an extent, that has worked. But the term that we love to use whenever Ben makes one of those ridiculous, remarkable plays like the one he made on the touchdown to Heath Miller is Ben being Ben. You hear that one all the time now. Ben being Ben. Hashtag for that on Twitter. There's a reason that exists, because that is who that quarterback is. That doesn't mean every play has to be playground ball. But you have to at least be in tune with what his mentality is, how he's thinking, how he wants to beat the other team. That's not optional. That's not something where the Steelers can arbitrarily decide, well, this is how it's going to be. We want the team to be this way. Or if you remember that stuff that Hines Ward said earlier in the year, that the real reason that Bruce Arians was fired was because, well, they were catering the offense more to the player than to the team. What does that mean? He is the team. He is the offense. He's the franchise. You might not like him. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of people won't forgive him for what happened before. But he's the franchise. If you want the Steelers to succeed, then by very definition, you want Ben Roethlisberger to succeed. That's not optional. That's not something that's up for discussion or debate. Mike Tomlin needs to figure this out. He needs to sit down with Haley, with Ben, and see where they are. Let them have it out. Close the door. Soundproof the room. Let them have it out if that's what it takes. Make them be honest with each other. Dude, your play calling the other day was horrible. Haley can come back. Oh, look, I wasn't the one that called such and such audible in this situation. Oh, and by the way, Ben, did you happen to notice that you were in the no huddle when you threw the interception in overtime? Have it out. Go nuts. Fight if you have to. But figure it out. Get on the same page. And if you can't, then that's when Mike Tomlin needs to look at a much stronger solution. And that would be changing offensive coordinators. Again, not optional. This has to be about the quarterback.